So if you're just starting out in Apex Legends and you're not very good at shooting, like how I was, because I started off in Apex Legends, was my first shooter game ever. For someone in that situation, I wanted to make a tier list based on which weapons are more easier for you to pick up and which ones you should be looking out for if you're trying to get into the game and you kind of just want to get your foot out the door and start performing pretty well. Remember that this is my opinion. If you have any different opinions you want to discuss, feel free to let me know, because I want to know. Let's go ahead and start with the 30-30 repeater. 30-30 repeater, I put it at absolute garbage tier. This is regardless of whether you're actually good at the game or whether you're kind of relatively new at the game. I think the 30-30 repeater is one of the worst weapons in the game. It's interesting because it's one of the most recent weapons to be added into the game, but like a week after it was released, the G7 Scout was like, nope, still better by the way. So the alternator's S tier. Whether you're a good player or a bad player, it's definitely S tier. With the disruptor rounds already built into them, I personally think that for new players, the alternator shoots in a better way than the R9 does, because the R9 empties the clip way too fast. And if you're relatively new to the game, you're gonna miss a lot of those shots and you're gonna end up having to reload a lot. But because the alternator shoots at a much slower pace, you have a better chance of getting a couple of shots in than just missing your entire clip with the R9. So the Bowshek bow, I am not a fan of the bow at all. I'm really not. Maybe it's just, I'm just not used to the way the shooting mechanics on it work. It just doesn't feel like it fits into Apex pretty well, in my opinion. And I've been playing the game for a while, but I pick up the bow and I still feel like it's either worse or less worse. I never have a good day with the bow for some reason. I'm pretty sure a lot of new players will probably struggle with it too. Charged rifle though, charged rifle is B. Charged rifle is a really good weapon. Nothing inherently bad about it, but it's just a really good sniper. I would actually put charged rifle almost at A even. Like if I'm telling a new player which sniper they should pick up between the longbow, the sentinel, and the charged rifle, I would tell them, hey dude, go pick up a charged rifle. Even if you're at like a maximum distance, you're still gonna be able to poke your opponent. So it's a really good non-confrontational way of fighting and getting some kills on the board. So Devotion. I think Devotion's also A. Devotion's a really solid weapon. New players will definitely benefit a lot from the LMGs. If you can get the wind up, or you just find yourself a turbocharger, it's just gonna shred through everyone. Even if your aim's bad, you can still probably one clip one person with the Devotion. Just the fact that I can just shoot, you know, just keep shooting. The EVA 8 automatic shotgun, I would put that at A as well. Like, definitely I would put it at A. It really is like the best shotgun. I hate to say it, but as much of a fan of the Peacekeeper that I am, and how much I hate the Mastiff, I think that EVA 8 is the best shotgun because it's so forgiving. You have 8 shots to be able to beat the bejeebus out of your opponent. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting. A lot of these weapons that are just like, just keep shooting and you'll eventually get them, are very new player friendly. Flatline though, it's okay. I wouldn't recommend the flatline when compared to the other assault rifles. Unforgiving recoil pattern, no room for attachments in terms of like barrel stabilization to help with the recoil pattern. It's an okay weapon at most, to be honest. The G7 Scout is the best of the single fire weapons. The single best weapon of the single fire weapons, especially if you're using like a Gibraltar or a Rampart, that you have that extra cover. Like the other day, I was steamrolling in arenas with a Gibraltar G7 combo. It was nasty. I didn't clip it though. And it was cool. And if you're just starting into the game, this is actually a really good weapon to have if you have to like fight between this one or a Bowshek or a 30-30 repeater or any other single fire weapon. Like, picking this up is amazing. All right, so moving on to the Havoc. I don't like the Havoc. As a new player, I never liked the Havoc either. Back when I was starting out, the recoil pattern on it is weird. It's awkward. Any day of the week, I prefer picking up a flatline over the Havoc every single day. I don't see myself having a good time whenever I pick the Havoc. And I don't see anyone else having a good time either. It does a nice amount of damage, but when it comes to energy weapons, the Havoc is definitely the weakest of the 4. A couple of seasons ago, I would have told you the Hemlock is amazing, go pick it up, but lately the Hemlock's been pretty bad. It's been a rough couple of months for the Hemlock, to say the least. Even back when it was a top tier weapon, I was like, I much prefer the Flatline over the Hemlock, any day. Kraber is really not S tier. Kraber's A tier. It hits really hard for headshots and for body shots, I guess. It's really just a situational gun. Like if you have an entire team pushing you and you have a Kraber and an R301, you basically just have an R301. A Battle Royale L-Star, the fact that you could just shoot it and not have to reload, and as long as you don't overheat it, I'm inclined to put the L-Star over at B tier. The recoil is really, really weird. But the thing is that if you get short range shots with the L-Star, you're gonna shred the person's. It's just a really weird gun overall, so I'm putting it at definitely B, but not higher than the G7 Scout, not higher than the Flatline. Definitely better than Bowick. So, longbow. If you're inclined to play sniper, I would definitely say pick longbow over the sentinel. Not over the charge rifle, though. The charge rifle really is a very beginner-friendly weapon. The longbow's more, it takes a little bit more skill, but it's also a very, very fun weapon. It's also a very fun weapon to learn, too. Mastiff, I would say it's C tier. Like, don't ever pick up the Mastiff in your life. Maybe it's just me being biased. Maybe it's just me absolutely hating the Mastiff, but avoid the Mastiff like the plague, honestly. The Mozambique is meant to be a bad weapon, but I would 100% pick up a Mozambique over the Mastiff. These two are like the bias in me kicking in. I absolutely hate these two shotguns. P2020. I guess the Mastiff is an upgrade over the P2020. Technically, because the P2020 is designed to be a beginner weapon. But if the P2020 was not designed to be a beginner weapon, I would pick it over the Mastiff any single day. Peacekeeper, though, as fun as the Peacekeeper is, as amazing and as fun to use the Peacekeeper is, it really is just terrible. It's terrible. It's very punishing for new players. It's a really good weapon that you can do really well with, but you have to hit your shots. If you don't hit your shots, especially like full-on body shots, if you hit partial shots, you're not going to do very well with it. So I would definitely say if you're a new player of the game, don't pick up the Peacekeeper. Practice with it, get better at it, and then use it. But it's a very high-risk, high-reward weapon. Prowler, though. Prowler's really fun. Like, if you have the chance, pick up a Prowler. I would put Prowler in A tier. Like, Prowler is really, really broken right now. At close range, this thing shreds, especially if you're on controller and you got that sweet aim assist helping you out. The Prowler's amazing. But the Prowler's definitely A tier. Pick it up. Use it. You'll have fun. R301, best weapon in the game. Best weapon in the game, regardless of skill level, R301 is the absolute best weapon in the game. It's not broken, it's well-rounded. It's like Mario in Super Smash Bros. You know, Mario is the most well-rounded character in Super Smash Bros. Nothing wrong with it, nothing broken about it. It's just an amazingly good, accurate weapon. The recoil pattern is easy and is also very easy to control. It's good at close range. It's good at ×1. It's good at ×2. You can stick a ×3 on it. That's my favorite loadout. R301 with ×3 is my favorite loadout, and you're going to do amazing with poking with it too. Now, the R99 is at the top of B tier. Like I said, this weapon is really good, but it empties out so fast that if you can't get your shots, you're going to be reloading more than you are actually going to be hitting your opponent. RE45 is a beginner weapon, but I would put it at the top of C tier. So yeah, the RE45 is good. But again, it's a handgun. It's a good beginner gun. Sentinel. I'm gonna put this one on C. The Sentinel is really good if you can click heads. If you can't click heads, then probably don't pick it up as much. So Sentinel's here. Spitfire is S. If you never have to reload, just keep shooting and just keep shooting and just keep shooting, and then trust me, eventually you'll kill him. Triple Take's also really good. Triple Take, because it has the spread, I would put it at near the bottom of A tier. But because it has that spread, you know, if you're panicking, you can use it as a shotgun in close range, but you can also just poke with it. All these care package weapons are sort of implied to be good, and the Triple Take is also good by default. Volt is my favorite gun in the game. I'm gonna put it in S. The recoil pattern on the Volt is very easy to learn. Surprisingly easy for the amount of damage it does. It is not B tier. The Volt outperforms the R99. It empties out slower. Each damage per bullet does a lot more. Like, if you don't have care package weapons, your ideal loadout should be R9 Volt. Like, for some absurd reason, the Volt performs really well at ×2. And now the Wingman! Trash. Don't touch the Wingman for nothing in your life. At the very bottom of the garbage bin. I know you've seen the ACU videos, and the Wingman is one of the best weapons in the game. It really is. If you can hit your shots. If. That big if. It is a very high risk, high reward weapon. The Rampage actually say that it's somewhere in B tier, on top of the R99. The LMGs by default are really good for new players. And if you stick a thermite on it, it does turn into A tier. I would definitely still pick up a Devotion over the Rampage. I say that the Devotion's a lot more forgiving than the Rampage. But there you go. There you guys go. If you have not the best aim in the game, or if you're just trying to get into Apex for the first time and you don't want to get steamrolled. Obviously, if this was a competitive tier list, it would be completely different. But this is a good set of weapons for you to pick up and just start having fun with.